Preparing the
Inner Circle.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Inner Circle. I'm Brandon Wright.
Tyler Phillips.
And for this Valentine's Day, me and Tyler watched, what's it called?
When we first met.
I keep forgetting the name because just like the movie, it's forgettable within a couple of hours.
Yeah, I'll actually agree with you there.
Oh,
too.
dang. Okay. But let's take it to the next level. If I can get visual audio clips of my rage at the movie, it starts now.
So he wouldn't go for her for 3 years, even though they're a completely different person in this timeline. This is so stupid.
Oh,
You good, fam?
He doesn't eat.
You good?
He doesn't eat Cookie Crisp.
Are you okay?
He eats Fruity Pebbles now.
I ate a whole pizza tonight and watched a bad movie. This isn't going to be a good night.
And we're back.
Are you just going to take the Snapchat and screen record?
Yeah. But I raged at this movie. I thought it was stupid. I didn't understand their laws of time travel were ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it just didn't make any sense on a surface level. But okay, I just thought it was like one of the worst Netflix original movies I've ever seen.
Really?
But I haven't watched a lot of Netflix original movies.
Good point. I thought it was just enjoyable. It was an enjoyable, quick movie just to get out of the way and get done with. Adam Devine and King Batch, they did okay, and I always love seeing them on camera. But so yeah, it was the time travel concept. Can we talk about that for a second?
Sure.
I like it because it usually follows one path, but this time it didn't take that path, because at the end it's like, oh yeah, you can't even use the time travel anymore, which usually is like the ending all be all. And then it's like immediately solved with, yeah, remember we put it in your house. And he's like, what? Okay, let me just go home and do it. I'm like, make it harder.
My thing is that our character, who looks like he's in his late 20s, early 30s something, has the mind of a 5-year-old who hasn't seen any movies about basic messages like be yourself. Like, there was an entire arc where he was trying to take advice from King Botch about how to pick up ladies. And he's obviously, as a late 20s, early 30s, you realize that different people have different ways of flirting. Mm-hmm. And it feels like I was watching something that it would be in a middle school coming-of-age movie. But instead, they want me to believe this guy is so stupid that he's going to do this. Yeah. And he does. And I forgot, that's how forgettable this movie is. There's another arc that my eyes just rolled because, like a lot of aspects of this movie, it's been done to death. It's like a horse you just keep beating, hoping it does something.
Did you say horse or Porsche? It sounded like you said Porsche. Let's just keep beating a Porsche.
Insert clip from The Big Lebowski of Walter beating the car.
That's what happens, Larry! That's what happens, Larry!
Oh no. So we want to move on to characters now, since you've already talked about Adam Devine's character being like a 5-year-old.
I also think going into characters, but more so into the acting, I don't know who directed this film. I'll put the name here. But essentially, it's like he directed our main character to be like he's in a...
Thought I had a director. I don't. Sorry, keep going.
You can look for him while I'm talking about this. But essentially, he belongs in a good 90s Adam Sandler film. Like, he's over the top, but still kind of mellow.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he is in a world where everyone else is somewhat tame around him. If a little one-dimensional, they're tame. But he's just like out there making jokes that sometimes are or are not funny.
Yeah.
Just like an Adam Sandler movie. But
the other characters I really enjoyed, like Ethan and Avery, and I cannot remember the other girl's name to save my life. Her name's Shelley Henning. I don't know what she played.
We are trying here, guys.
We're trying. But they were pretty dynamic, in all honesty, when they flip them back and forth in different time sequences.
I feel like what I think you're confusing for multiple dimensions is them taking a stereotype and then changing them into another archetype. or archetype trains him to another archetype. We had one arc where our buddy, our main character, acts like a whole total douchebag, and then he wakes up 3 years later and is built up to be this douchebag. And Ethan, who is like, I know Ethan's name because it keeps saying it like the main character says it with anger.
Yeah,
Ethan Dinkelberg.
Hey, looking good, Turner.
Dinkelberg.
But essentially, like what happens is one timeline he'll be like a really confident go-getter dude. The next one he'll just be a sad slob, and it's like, or like less confident than normal. And you could argue that's like him altering the timeline. And that's one thing was like this 3 year. They have the time gimmick is that he keeps going back 3 years and a day in the past, and then the next day he wakes up 3 years and a day in the future, and that's cool and all. But they act like it's like we haven't seen each other for 3 years when like our main character holds such feelings apparently for some characters. Which doesn't make sense because they've been gone away from each other for 3 years.
Yeah, I can see that.
If they closed the gap a little bit, maybe I could see that working. But like, it's 3 whole years, and they're acting like either they don't know each other at all, or they act like they're so buddy when apparently they haven't seen each other for 3 years.
Yeah. I will say, the 3 years part, like seeing the difference in the timelines. So, Ethan is at first the husband or soon-to-be husband, and then in the other timeline where our guy gets the girl, he's the one that is in his place, crying, getting drunk at their bridal shower, and it is just hilarious to me, and I love it.
I didn't find it funny at all. If anything, I found it lazy.
Okay, you gotta admit the part when they're in the car and he slams on brakes, slams his head into the seat is pretty funny. Really, I liked it.
I literally didn't have a single like unironic laugh in this movie.
Dang.
I will say, yeah, it's like it's something I have to come to terms with. That my sense of humor. It's really different. Me and Michelle, who I watched it was on Valentine's Day, I had way more laughs with her just making fun of the movie than actually watching the actual film. Me and her were talking about the concepts of product placements and Cookie Crisp and everything. The whole timeline was built up around Cookie Crisp, I tell you. It's all about the Cookie Crisp.
Basically watching this by myself because my girlfriend was not paying attention. She had watched it before. So I was watching it by myself, and I had no one to discuss this with, so I feel like you caught a lot more flaws having people there than I did.
Well, it's like, to me, it's not even something I could recommend as just basic entertainment, because we've seen a lot of these done before, and if you're going for a good... There's so many good romances that you can sit down and watch with your significant other on Valentine's Day, which was 2 days ago at the time of this posting. There's The Holiday, which has Jack Black, Jude Law, and 2 other chicks.
So save it for next year.
Don't watch this. I'm starting to every time I have faith in Netflix and like their originals.
It dies.
Yeah, it's like for every Devilman, there is a...
You love Devilman?
Well, you haven't finished it yet.
I haven't.
It's like for every Devilman, there's a Death Note movie, and and a When They First Met, and a What Happened to Monday. I didn't like that movie either.
We're still avoiding Erased.
No,
we're not going to Erased.
What's wrong? What's going to be wrong with that?
I don't trust it.
Why?
Erased was such a great anime for me. I don't want to trust a live action version done by Netflix. They already ruined Death Note.
But it's really just like a Japanese drama that they bought the license to. It isn't like they made it.
We'll try it one day.
Just like a Little Witch Academia.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. So, final thoughts.
2 out of 10.
2 out of 10. I'd give it a 6. 6 out of 10. Okay, 5 out of 10 because I was able to predict the ending within the first 10 minutes of the movie.
I'd watch the Death Note live action movie before I watch this again.
Ooh, that's saying something.
I don't know what to say about this that probably couldn't be said about any other romance movie that was done better. I just don't there's nothing significant that I think is wow, this really changes things up, or wow, that's a neat concept.
Yeah, it was very predictable. Very, very predictable.
And maybe that was the point. I don't know. I don't like being fed dumb food for an hour
Yeah.
and a half. It's a short movie. Thank God they gave me that. It was a short movie.
It was a very short movie.
Thank you, God.
All right. Well, I guess that's all we need to hear and all we need to say. So, Brandon is going comatose. We will see you guys next time.
I'm praying.
For what? You already watched it.
That's why I'm praying for the sweet release.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. I'm praying for the sweet release of death.